and see. All right, hi everybody. We're here at Summerhill on a beautiful early November day, and we are drinking back vintages of our Cabernets. We were just in the cellar together. We tasted 5 vintages, all from the same vineyard from subsequent years, and we picked 3 of them that we thought were really exciting and told a good story and had wonderful qualities that we wanted to share with you. So my name is Ezra. I'm the second generation here.
My name is Susan. I am the winery sommelier.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm the winemaker here.
And let me tell you a little bit about this wine before we get started. This is grown in Osoyoos species by 2 families, the Olac family and the Sikon family. We started working with both of these vineyards in 2007, I believe, and they officially started organic transition in 2008, and they were certified by the 2012 vintage, which is the last one in this sequence. We got a 9, an 11, and a 12 here to share with you. And these are all Cabernet Sauvignon dominated blends, and it's just the 2 grapes, Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. All right, so here we go, starting with the 2009. First impressions on the nose.
It's a fruit bomb, like lots of bright, fresh red fruits to it. There's that cherry, that raspberry, a little bit of blackberry. Like I just find the fruit really jumps out of the glass on this one.
And then some beautiful herbaceous notes as well, like think sage, think almost like dried oregano and thyme, and then a little bit of capsicum.
As we go forward, they develop more body and they're bigger wines. This one's actually like a light-bodied wine, but it has its own kind of appeal, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's really soft. It's delicate. It's really beautiful on the palate. I think people often look for a red wine for lighter dishes. This and grilled salmon would be a killer combo. Maybe a lighter cream-based sauce, but it's got beautiful fresh acidity. The tannin's not overpowering, but you still get lots of those red fruits and dark fruits, and that crushed gravel, a little bit of that herbaceous note. So it screams Cabernet blend, but it's a little bit softer than some other Cabernet blends out there.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I would describe this as soft and supple on the palate and incredibly elegant. It's not overpowering. It's not quite as intense as you might expect, but I think it's super beautiful and really, really pretty.
Pretty. That's
yes.
what I think too. Yeah, like it's bright and fresh and, really like appealing in that way. But then I think what the time did, like normally you're like, oh, the tannins are mature and so on. Like it's not really a very tannic wine to begin with, but it kind of added, layers of complexity and flavor and like a savoriness that underpins that fruit, which I think is really appealing and really nice.
Yeah, it's super approachable. Like I find I keep going back and just wanting to drink it.
Yeah,
like
drinkable.
It's really drinkable. Just want to enjoy a glass of it. Like it's quite pretty.
All right, shall we move forward in time to 2011, which was actually a notorious vintage in the Okanagan Valley. This was a cool year, and through harvest it was overcast and drizzly the whole time, and it was a sad year for winemakers in the Okanagan, but it actually makes wines that age very well. It actually gives you sort of structural elements to really make a wine for the ages.
Yeah, absolutely. In those cool years, you're going to get more tannin. It's a little bit more dry and gripping tannin as opposed to softer, supple tannins. You get that acid backbone. And so you get these wines that young are a little bit more acidic and a little bit more tannic, but over time develop into beautifully balanced wines. And I think this wine speaks to that. That in a cool year when you didn't see the sugars that you might see in a riper year, it really led to a wine that was meant to age.
And you get that on the nose right away. It's so perfumed and the fruit is so refined.
Yeah, there's beautiful floral notes to it.
I was just looking at the alcohols, and the 2 vintages are actually the same. They're both 13.3% alcohol. This was like a run. At this time in history in the Okanagan Valley, we were having a run of kind of not hot years. 2008 was cool. 2009 was a bit warmer. 2010 was cool, and then 2011 was really cool. And then it turned around in 2012, and then we got a string of really hot vintages. So these are both 13 and a third percent, but this one's actually in a way richer than the 09. Even though it was a cooler year, it ended up being a richer wine.
Yeah, that tannin and that structure really gave it a weight to it and a balance to it that's quite pretty.
I think because wines from cooler years retain a lot of that beautiful, vibrant, mouth-watering acidity, this would pair beautifully with a variety of dishes with a tomato base. So I'm thinking, even especially as we move into cooler months, like a hunter's stew or something with game meats and a tomato base would be beautiful. And of course, I mean, I'm a huge fan of any sort of Cabernet blend with a big steak.
Yeah.
But I think because this is so elegant and so delicate, I would want to I'd want to serve it with dishes that are maybe a little more nuanced than just a big honking slab of meat.
But I think pepper would probably be a good flavor with it.
Pepper, absolutely, yeah.
Pepper would probably work pretty good.
I'm even thinking something like rabbit cacciatore would be
Ooh, that would be
beautiful.
good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like a hunter style
Wow.
meat dish.
Yeah, we've got a lamb burger on the menu that would be
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
killer with this.
That would be tasty.
Yeah, but
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to 2012, and now we get into a warmer year, and this has, actually, not warmer alcohol. This is also a 13% wine. So whatever we did in the vineyard with ripening and choosing the harvest dates, we weren't going for like super high bricks. So this is also 13%. And 2012 was not a hot year. This was like a sort of a normal Okanagan.
yeah, I mean, lots of fruit still, lots of those dark fruits this time. Reminds me of my mom's homemade blackberry jam. That crushed gravel, nice minerality to it, a little bit of that capsicum. It definitely screams of a riper vintage. The fruit flavors are a little bit riper, the tannins are a little bit softer, the acid's a little bit softer. But as a result, it also has a nice balance. Like, they work together really well. And the time in bottle has allowed everything to integrate really beautifully and really well. So nothing really sticks out. It just has a softness to it.
This has real harmony.
Yeah.
And maybe it's worth mentioning this wine, when it was released, was a double gold medal winner at the San Francisco International Wine Competition.
You can see why. It just sings on the palate. Everything comes together so nicely.
And what do you think for this one? I remember we were talking about it because we tasted this before the camera started rolling. Do you remember what we were talking about that would taste good with this one? You could come up with something new too. I don't know.
Little warmer vintage, those riper fruit flavors, riper aromas on the nose as well would be beautiful with something really robust. So I would definitely say lamb burger, venison burger. Honestly, I had a great, I know there are probably some vegetarians and vegans who are interested in our wines. I had a great kind of winter stew that was vegan last night, and we had put some like vegetarian ground round into that with some spice. I think this would be really lovely with something like that.
Oh,
too.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I remember what we were talking about. We were imagining having some hard, salty cheese.
Oh, yes.
Right? But you know what I think? You know what I honestly think is that, like, we're selling these as a pack so people
Right.
can experience them. And yes, if it's just one or two of you, you may want to open one a night and sort of like let it breathe. I would recommend decanting certainly the 2011, because when we first opened that one, I'm on a tangent here. When we first opened that one, it was tasted more like the capsicum and the sage were really dominant. It took a little moment for the fruit to come out, but then it really
Yeah, it was
came
a bit
out.
tight. It was a bit tight.
Yeah. But so this is a decanter. Anyway, tangent. Point is, you could pair them, open one a night with a loved one and enjoy them and let them develop through the evening, or open all three bottles and get some hard salty cheese and just enjoy them all together like we are, because it's kind of nice. It's kind of like you get a sense of time. You get a sense of the vineyard,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that the Okanagan is famous for is vintage variation and celebrating that, especially here at Summerhill. Every year is different, and with the organics and the biodynamics, we're allowed to celebrate the differences in years. And I think this pack, especially tasted together, shows the variation in years and what it looks like when they age and what some time in bottle does with riper years and years where there's a little bit less heat and a little bit cooler. So I think it's a lot of fun to try them together and kind of see both what time and history look like and what different vintages present, 7, 8, 9, 10 years after they were picked.
Yeah. And overall, tasting them together, you really know that you're not in Napa Valley, you're not in Bordeaux, you are in the Okanagan Valley. You get a real sense of this place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to share? Thoughts?
I would just add that I love being able to taste wines side by side. I think, to touch on what Michael was saying earlier, it's such a wonderful opportunity to get to sample wines that really truly express a sense of place, and when they're coming from the same vineyard site, they're the same blend. It's just really exciting to be able to experience how the wine has developed and changed in the bottle over time, because it is alive. And I think because we take such great care cultivating our vines at Summerhill, and there's so much love put into these wines in the cellar, it's just really wonderful to be able to share in this. So I'm excited for you to get to share in this as well.
All right, you guys enjoy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.